Hey guys, it's Stephanie Grams. How are you today? All right, so hopefully the filming will work for us. Today is going to be the great debate within the Memory Bear and Sentimental Sewing groups. And it's kind of interesting that there's all kinds of debates within this field. I don't see this in the groups of quilters or people in other types of sewing um, realms, I guess, as a profession or career. But for some reason, there is an issue with whether or not you should label your memory bears, right? And I'm not really sure why there's a debate. So I did a little sleuthing, is that the word? Spying around, and I let me back up for just a quick second. So when I started focusing on memory bears several years ago, it never crossed my mind not to include a label on who designed and made this product. Um, so when I saw this debate, I thought, oh, that's kind of strange that um, people are debating whether to include a product label on these memory bears. And you know, there's no debate when somebody is designing a quilt or pillows, pillow shams, curtains, right? We always include a label. If you are designing clothes for adults or children, you know to include a label. Like that's the law. And I'll look up the law if you want me to. But for some reason when it just became an issue within the memory bear community. And so I wanted to kind of give you my take on that. And as always, there's a disclaimer with everything I say: do, write, and share. Find out what your legal team recommends for you, and taxes, But today is basically more along the lines of legal because in my understanding, and again, this is me, my understanding, when you upcycle or create something, you need to label that. Um, so here's some of the date. Here's how it started. Somebody asked, "Do you put a tag, which they meant a label, but they called it a tag, on your memory keepsakes, and where do you put it? Like, where do you put this?" Um, this person went on to say that their spouse thinks that it's insensitive to put a business tag, which remember that's a label, on a memory bear because it's somebody else's clothing. Um, he said the spouse said not to put a tag on it at all. There was quite a debate after that question, and um, let me tell you why I legally put a tag on my bears, cats, dogs, whatever it is I'm making. I put a tag on there. And if you scroll through any of my playlists, I show you how to make your own tags, how to design them with Avery.com, which is a free software. I don't use Canva.com for my tags. It just did not read my printer and labels. Everything I do for my memory bears and sentimental sewing is done through Avery.com. It's free. That's where I buy my printable tags and all of that. So go through the playlist and you can see how I create a design and all of that. Um, now, the tag doesn't have to be a huge tag. Depending on the size of the memory bear, I make the tag between 1.5 and 3.5 inches long, and probably 1 to 2 inches wide. Um, Again, know what size memory bear you're making. If you're making a tiny, like handheld memory bear that's like, I don't know, 6 inches, and it's meant for, like a little keepsake or something like that. Obviously, you don't want a tag that's half the size of the bottom part of it. So know your measurements and know what design you want. But it's completely simple to do. Really, it is. If you need one-on-one help with that, you need to send me a private message through my contact page on my website, and that's sopreneur.com. And if you're on a newsletter, just reply with the newsletter and let me know if you need some one-on-one instructions on that. But anyways, um, let me see if anybody else agreed with this person's spouse. Someone said they didn't used to, but a customer of theirs said, please put a tag on it or a label. And that way I know I can remember who made it. And so that is one reason that I've always included a label or tag on everything that I've made. I said, either handmade or lovingly made by, and I put Stephanie Graham's. At the time, I put stephaniegrahams.com because all of my customers were coming through my main website at that time. And if I have an old customer come through and they go to stephaniegrahams.com, they're going to still see how to contact me if they needed a bear made. But, anyways, and then on the bottom of it, I said that, let me see if I can pull up my picture. I'd rather read it verbatim to you instead of trying to remember exactly what I did. Um, anyways, I said, lovingly handmade, not it may contain small parts, choking hazard to children and pets. And I also said, do not wash or dry, but um, hand spot clean it. And there's a couple reasons why I had to legally put that on my bears. One, I don't want a child or someone's pet ripping the bear apart and choking on the eyes or the nose, because most of the bears had safety eyes and safety nose. Um, a good portion of the bears I made had those, whereas the other bears were mainly no face at all, or they were hand embroidered eyes and nose. But regardless, I wasn't going to print off 3 or 4 different tags. So I just made one generic tag and I included that on all of my bears. So I wanted them to, number one, protect myself, but also protect my customers, because I had a customer who ordered some bears, had the safety eyes and nose, and for some reason their puppy attacked one of the bears and pulled its face off, and they never did find the plastic eyes or the plastic nose. So I don't know if the puppy ate it or what, but yeah, it was not good, but I covered myself and I covered the customer. I let them know, hey, keep these away from children and pets. And if you have a loved one that is has a special need, or is medically, um, what's the proper word, declining, they may pull and fidget at the eyes and nose. So if you know that you're making something that might be around someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, I highly recommend that you encourage them to either have no face at all on there, or you use hand embroidery eyes and nose to stay away from that. Okay, so that's something that I do teach in my classes, and we can go in depth in my classes with that. But for now, to label or not label. So let's get back on track here. I don't want to digress onto, up the rabbit trail or whatever. Um, your label should include your website, and please tell me that you have a website by now. If you've been following me for any amount of time, I'm really a proponent for supporting you to get a website, not a Facebook page, or not a face. Don't rely on social media. Don't rely on a free website. Purchase your domain. Pay for your I almost said housing. Pay for your hosting, and get your business set up. All right. So definitely get that foundation going. But put your website on there. Put your care and oh, what is it called? Not ingredients. Care instructions. I'll get it right. Your care instructions, because just because the clothes, say it's made out of a t-shirt, right? Just because the t-shirt used to go in the washer and dryer doesn't mean that it's the whole entire bear should be doing that. If you use any type of stabilizer or interfacing and that person throws the bear in the washer and then throws it in the dryer, they're going to have pulled seams. I've seen it 100 times on these pictures where somebody will say, "Hey, my bear fell apart. Can you fix it?" And I can tell by looking at that picture that the customer did not take care of that item. It was most likely thrown in the washing machine or the dryer or both. If you've been sewing for any amount of time, you can tell what has happened to that product, regardless of what the customer tells you, right? You can always tell that they didn't follow the care instructions. So please make sure that there are care instructions on your products. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I just cannot. I can't stand having something in front of there. So your label will cover you in number one. It'll point to your website in case they want to order more from you or, you know, refer you to a friend or family. Your label or tag, same thing, will tell them how to care for the product once it's made. Number three, your tag or label will protect you legally because you are saying, hey, this is not for your pets. This is not for children. Keep away small parts, choking hazard, that kind of thing. So for me, I would always tell my students, get some tags, make sure you have that information on there, or at least the information that your legal team is telling you to include. I don't know where you live, I don't know your state laws or the country you're in or any of that, so I can't tell you exactly the words to put on your tags or labels, but I can share with you what I have been told that I need to include on my labels. And you know what? Do your due diligence every year. You know, make sure that there's no laws that have changed. Um, but definitely um, label or tag your products. I use the stone in labels, so I design and print my own at home as needed. It saves me a lot of money. I used to order my labels, um, and the ones I make are equally high quality and half the price. So, and I like the idea that if it's Christmas, I can put a little Christmas coloring on it. If it's Easter, I use pastels. If it's Halloween, I can put a little pumpkin on it, on the tags. I mean, you can design them any way you want to. You can change the font and the colors, the size, whatever it is that you'd like, but definitely take into consideration how is this customer going to find you. So, in in closing, I just want to tell you a little story. I had a customer reach out to me and she said, "Hey, I got your information from your mother in law, and I was hoping that you could make three memory bears for me from my deceased son." From his clothing, I should say. And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I showed her some of the pictures of the bears I've done before. I showed her the safety eyes and nose. I showed her the hand embroidered eyes and nose. I showed her the no face bears that have been popular. And I've also shown her where the person wanted eyes, no nose. And I've also showed her pictures of the bear that had the hand embroidered eyes, the hand embroidered nose, and the hand embroidered like smiley mouth and muzzle or whatever. And so, out of all of those pictures, she chose no face on her memory bears. And I thought that was kind of different because it was a young preteen that had passed away, and the clothes were young and vibrant. And I thought, okay, that's a little different, but everybody has their reason. And she, you know, hours had passed before she told me her choice with no face. Or actually, after she told me no face, that's when I had that thought. And then several hours later, she followed up with a message and said, "The only reason I didn't want any face was because my mother had memory bears made from my grandmother's clothing when my grandma passed away over 30, 30 or 40 years ago. So this customer of mine must have been young when her mom had these memory bears made. And there was no tag. They didn't know the year they were made, the person that made them. Um, so no information was left on any of that. And the customer wanted to go ahead and follow suit with that. um, I don't know if it sounds like it might become a family, what's the word, um, tradition now to have memory bears made with no faces. So that was something interesting. I had not heard of it being like a tradition now. Prior to her, I had a customer that didn't want a face, but that was, I didn't really think much of it because it was from an older person. And I can go into more detail on why I thought one or the next. um so anyways, usually I think of memory bears with a smiley face. And so it just took me off guard just for a second. But the one thing I walked away with was, I wonder why they didn't put a label on those bears. And then shortly after I was told that story, I saw this great debate. And I thought, oh, that's the weirdest thing. I didn't know there was a debate on this. That some people would think that it was a like negative to have the maker's information put on a memory bear or dog or rhino or whatever it is that you're making. Um, so, anyways, I thought I would go over this with you. But enough of that. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you will know that the stephaniegrams.com website has been updated to basically a one-page information website. And so if you ever get lost online and you're trying to find me, you always go to stephaniegrams.com first. Now, if you are fairly new, you would know more about the sopreneur.com website. And that is the main website. It has been under construction for months. And I finally got things moved over. My wonderful website host did it for free. Most places will charge you a couple $100 to move a website, but MomWebs, Scott and Kelly of MomWebs, and I think their affiliate link is underneath this video. Um, they did that for free for me, and that's just one of the perks of having MomWebs as a website hosting company. I have been with them, I think it's been since 2006. Um, I would literally have to go through all my invoices to see, but not only are they affordable, but they are always there to help. I don't think that I've ever had an issue with their customer service at all. Even on holidays, I'm, I'm probably a pest for them, because if something's going to go wrong for my website, it happens on the weekends or it happens on a holiday. And so just send them a quick email through their help desk. And I mean, literally within a day, like I said, even on holidays, it's Scott or Kelly are the ones that get back to me. So I love their support. I can't say anything negative about them. I did try a different hosting company years and years ago, and it was nothing but a nightmare. The customer service was not there. I They didn't understand what I was asking. It was not a hosting company that was native to American terminology, and so we just could not work through what the problem was. It was that bad. And I literally left them and went back to within just a couple of months. And I thought, okay, we're done playing this game. And the only reason I did change hosting company is because the other hosting company had a $1 like fee or something like that. I think or it was get a free domain name, and it was some kind of special, and I thought, okay, I'll give them a try. It was a huge mistake. So I have been with MomWebs for all these years and never looked back. So you live and you learn, right? And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to help you with your sewing business and get you off to the right start on a good, firm foundation, save you from the headaches, save you from wasted money. I've probably tried it and it didn't work or something along those lines. And I'm trying to share my wisdom with you. So, um, if you're having problems with sewing a memory bear, please feel free to reach out and ask me, but I typically talk about the business behind the memory bears. So, waving to my daughter, Savannah. So definitely reach out to me and you will see me pop up online under a different name. I am not going anywhere. I'm still solopreneur, but I am an online sewing business instructor. So I started a website that is for all of my students. If you want to go look at it, it's not done at all. The website looks terrible, but it's sewingdoula.com because I am a certified end of life doula and I teach the sewing of legacy projects there. So you can always check out my new channel. I have maybe 5 subscribers right now, but it is sewing doula doula.com. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope I gave you some things to think about when it comes to label or don't label, why I tell you to label everything that you make, and gave you some information about the hosting company, the one I trust. And now this sewing doula, I have some of my students on this channel, and I want to be able to speak directly to you on the sewing doula channel. That way you don't have to sift through everything that's not necessarily what you're here for. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you later.